Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Nick's got her coffee cups going. All right.
Oops. All right. And then I think the Google Doc link is in the chat box, right?
Yes, but let's go ahead and put it one more time. Jared, if you don't mind copying that one more time.
It opens smooth as butter.
Oh, good. Okay,
Awesome. Thanks, Nick.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. We're excited to see you all. And we just want to say, you should give yourselves, just take a moment and celebrate how brave you are.
Yes.
You all, this is a true, productive struggle situation. So, you're all here. We're so glad. And we're also very, very grateful for the fact that, as we told you in the email today, you just come and we'll work it out together. Okay. So we're here as a collective and we just, keep pushing.
That's right.
Students.
So as we get settled in, I just want to call your attention to the screen. This is the wonderful Wordle that Iris put together for us based on the words that you all shared from last time. So look at that. It's so beautiful. And then also, if you haven't already, please, in the shared Google Doc, which is in the chat box, you can click on it now. Insert, if you scroll down to week 2 or session 2, and on the far left hand column, it says, please enter your name, your discipline, and which breakout room you would like to be a part of during the design lab session. We have a choice of Iris and Jared, myself, if you are counseling faculty or student services, and you kind of want to have a thought partner to discuss how us in student services and how us counselors can use e-portfolios to use to support student success. And then also Keelan will also have her breakout room, and you also have a quiet space as you have requested. So we heard your gots and needs, and we want to be responsive to you in that way. So any questions, please put them in the chat box and we'll be happy to address them. If you have any problems accessing the shared Google Doc, please let us know so we can make those adjustments at this time. So today, our objectives are going to be to consider backwards design and culturally community relevant responsive teaching in the context of the scaffolding and contents of the e-portfolio, creating assignment prompts. Also to engage in reflection and metacognition by completing an assignment through a learner lens, and apply knowledge by drafting a specific assignment or series of assignments for the e-portfolio. This is going to be...
Those are actually our objectives for the whole session, as in also the homework part. So,
right.
You don't have to do all that today.
Right, so that's our big picture. Mm-hmm. This is our agenda for today. We're going to be sharing out the gots and needs, recommendations, appreciations, sharing our e-portfolio element 1 that you worked on during the week, strengthening knowledge. Keelan's going to be sharing her wonderful project that she does in her class as a way to help us start to design our assignments. And then we'll have the design lab and then the reflections and next steps. All right, I'll hand it over to Keelan.
Okay, so we just quickly wanted to show you the gots and needs. So Diana, if you can click on that, gots and needs. And if you go into the Google Doc, towards the bottom, you can see on the top of page 12, you can click on the gots and needs, and that will take you to that gots and needs page. And so we thought that there was some really rich material here. A lot of times we do a chart, but you already kind of made a chart. So we replied to your feedback here. So we wanted you just to, if you haven't already, and I know that we told you in the email that we were going to be if you could ahead of time to take a look at it. We just kind of wanted you to take a minute to look over some of the comments, and then also invite you to perhaps comment yourselves if you wanted to now or at another time. And we're going to continue to use this document throughout the time that we have in our 4 sessions.
Keelan, do you want me to demonstrate how to attach a comment on here?
Oh, that would be great.
Right. So for example, here in this box, less time on an individual reflection. Let's just say I wanted to be like, oh, yes, definitely, I agree. I can just highlight that part, click on the plus sign right here, and that'll bring a little comment box, and I'll say, yes, indeed. Right. And then I can just put my comment there.
All right, that's good. So we all did a good job in the Google Docs. So that's awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and get moving, and you can just remember that this is a space that we have. Very, very good. Okay, so we are now moving forward to the peer sharing of the ePortfolio element number 1. We know that you all are really excited. We were absolutely thrilled to see the work that you all are doing. And like, I got tears in my eyes a couple times. I was looking at some of these, and you know, it was just like really, really cool. And we were thinking about like how we might do this in a way that, you know, perhaps could help you also think about how your students might start out as they're working on building the ePortfolio, if you decide that you want them to do this from the beginning of the semester or at just any time in the semester. And so we decided that our colleague, who is here in the room with us, I believe, if she didn't get booted right now, yes, she is here. So Nick, in her peer review sessions, does this wonderful protocol. And so we were like, well, let's go ahead and use this protocol. So if you go to the Google Doc on page 10, and I probably won't do it as well as Nick, so don't, you should go to her sessions if you want to see how great it is. But we really appreciated the language. I especially really appreciated the language of, you know, kind of giving this purpose, value, and approach. So I don't know if anybody's ever seen that Onion article that's about peer review and with 5th graders. It's very hilarious, and the students enjoy it, but it doesn't really kind of give that sense of what the peer review really does. And so I think this is a wonderful way to enter. And so again, on page 10, you see that peer review, purpose, value, and approach, sharing ideas creates an opportunity to think aloud with a partner. Often the act of explaining your plans to another person helps you hear them in a new way, identify elements of your plan that are working well, and places to dedicate time and attention for further development. Actively listening to a partner's idea or plan offers the listener an opportunity to gain new perspectives and approaches. And offering feedback and support helps share the load of designing and often clarifies concepts or approaches for the listener as well as the speaker. Peer feedback and dialogue are incredibly powerful ingredients for learning because they're less constrained by power dynamics. There is no assumed or stated expert and novice. There is no need to perform a level of proficiency or hide challenging elements of work in progress. So this is a very nice, I think, way to frame what the peer review does. And then there's a wonderful protocol here. So we are going to go ahead and get into some trios, and we will be moving forward with the peer review and this is the protocol. So the presenter will share the plan or idea for 3 minutes. Well, first you'll introduce yourselves, and then you can have like try to, you know, because we're tight on time, we'll try to do this within 1 minute, right? So talk really, really fast, drink some coffee and talk really, really fast. And then you can go ahead and share your plan or idea for 3 minutes. And this could be an overview of your plan or idea, including the goals, approach, etc. One thing about your ePortfolio that you're proud of, and a question that you have for the group, okay? And so just kind of thinking about like what those might be, and then the listeners will take notes on good ideas to borrow, questions that will help extend thinking about the plan or idea. And each listener will comment in response for 1 minute to offer feedback using the affirmation or question protocol. Okay. So we'll have prompts. I like that, your approach to, and then questions or comments. Okay. So any questions about this protocol? Let's check the chat.
So just to clarify, Keelan,
Yes.
we're sharing either our plan for our portfolio,
Thank you. Yes.
but we're not sharing our about me or our bio poem or anything like that. We're just talking about the ePortfolio.
Well, the whole thing. So so it's as, you know, because many of you all did, thank you, Diana. You all did different kinds of projects. So one of the things that I thought was, you know, and I know we all thought was so cool, was that you entered this in different ways. And so kind of thinking about, you know, as you're listening and thinking about it and looking, which will be the other part. So as you're viewing, so I would suggest that, you know, of course, you share the link to the ePortfolio so everyone can see it. You can do your share screen. So we'll want to practice the share screen function. And please let us know if you're having trouble doing that. We should have that enabled there so you can show on the screen what your project is looking like. And then you will, let's see, yeah, it looks like it's enabled. So let us know if you're having any trouble in your breakouts. Okay. So when you're in the breakout room, you will share, and then the others will listen and, you know, observe and think, and then they will share their feedback. So for instance, if Iris and Jared and Diana and I were in a room together and they were looking at my portfolio, one of the things that I would want to know is this easy to navigate? Can you find all of the things that were in there? So for instance, during community hours, one of the things that I asked the group was, you know, how's the navigation? Like, how is that working for you? And so thinking about like how someone is moving through it, is there anything that's missing? Is there anything that's confusing? Is there anything that perhaps I need to add? Now we know that these might be things that are, you know, incomplete at this time, and you may not even have anything, which is, again, okay, right? So thinking about it, like if you don't have something to bring, then you can say, this is what I'm thinking about adding, and what do you all think about that? Like what's missing from that? Okay, so kind of thinking about the process from that perspective of, you know, this is something that that I'm going to be perhaps presenting to, you know, well, definitely probably presenting to my students. And so if I'm presenting this to my students, then how will they be perceiving it? Okay, so we have a couple of expert students in the room who might be in your room. So that would be kind of cool. So they can help you as well. Okay. So are we having any further questions? Thank you, Diana, again for your help with this. Other questions that people have?
So we have to open Canvas to share the portfolio, right?
Your link, yeah. So you can go ahead and go into whatever you need to. So yeah, get it ready, and so that you can share your screen. Okay.
Yeah, I'm having difficulty because I have my own Canvas that I use in class, and I don't know where the one I set up is now, you know.
Okay. Well, go into where you did the submission. That's probably the best thing, is to go into the Canvas where you did the submission. Okay. And if not, then we're going to do the best we can, and then we'll get there. Okay. So we'll have a little more time afterwards. So take just a quick minute in order to locate like your materials. And then we will, what is it that Joanna says about the breakout rooms? Okay, so Thatcher says you can click on your account and then ePortfolios. Thank you. All right, is everyone ready to be cast into the universe of Narnia? I think this is kind of a Narnian kind of experience. Okay, all right, here we go.
All right.
Breakout rooms, Narnia. Have access. But you have access to this, and so on your own. But one of the things that I did was to implement a final project, which was Project Media. And previously, what I had done was to have a project that was a final creative project, and the students really enjoyed it. But then they also had a portfolio, and that portfolio kind of was a document that just kind of like lived in a two-pocket kind of situation, or sometimes it was an e-portfolio. But it was like we're trying to do all of these different things, and especially when we move from kind of this stretch curriculum where you have 2 semesters and you can kind of build, and maybe that's a little bit, you know, in terms of like, you know, the timing. But now it's like everything is super compressed. So how do we do it in a very compressed semester? And so the idea that has kind of come out of it is to have this Project Media be the final project, because they have to do three essay packets, and then they have to have this project. And so they do a digital portfolio, and then they also write a project statement of 1,000 or more words. And then they have a presentation and feedback, because presentation is part of it as well. And so they have this kind of group, you know, multiple layers to it. And so the portfolio, the contents of the portfolio live a separate life from, you know, in some ways. I mean, they're definitely there, but in terms of being graded, they're graded separately. So I know some of the people had asked questions like, you know, how do I make sure that there's no plagiarism, you know, things like that. Those contents are actually, I have them submit those on turnitin.com on Canvas, but they also live inside of the ePortfolio as part of that, that final portfolio piece. I've annotated the project and the portfolio in the grading here. And then I've also annotated the information about the portfolio and how much it's worth. And it is worth quite a bit. The portfolio itself, but again, this is the graded portion. The chunks, the contents are worth 20% of the grade. But the ePortfolio is worth the same as a paper. And so it kind of, that has its own point system for the 2 parts. Then it kind of, at that time, came more towards the end of the semester. And this has more information about it. And then it has the ePortfolio content. So about the author statement, this is what I chose to have the students include. The reflective introduction, which is something that is a standard for our department, and some of your departments also have standards that you have to have, you know, included. 2 of their favorite fully revised essays out of 3 that they produce. 3 of their favorite exercises that they did in the class, and they can post those. And then 3 blog posts, which can be discussion responses or reflections or something new that they could write or produce. And then they could put a video. I mean, there are different things that they can do. And then the project statement explaining the process of putting it together. And I've been trying to kind of think about that kind of tension between the project statement and the reflective introduction, which kind of sometimes do the same thing. And so I've been really thinking about that recently. So we'll, you know, hopefully we can all have some conversations about that. I have the reflective introduction instructions here, and then the final project instructions. So this writing showcase, so kind of bringing it all together for the final project, and then some information. And I talk about this more fully inside of the video that you can watch that Iris and I did together about ePortfolios. I kind of walk you through this part, but one of the things that I think about is, will it function as a cohesive album or a greatest hits album, things like that. And then they submit the project statement, and the project statement requires them to do a presentation as well. But I include thesis ideas. So one thesis is my e-portfolio demonstrates my growth as a writer over the semester through the deliberate arrangement of elements, including these things, or reflects my understanding of how to do this. Okay. Or they all support my newfound understanding of my identity as a writer, student, and member of various communities. And I would imagine that, you know, I can think about it. I came from a classified professional background working for EOP Admissions as an admissions counselor, working with high school students coming straight into college and with transfer students. And so during that time, I spent a lot of time with students and, you know, thinking about like the different ways that we can support them. And so Diana and I have had some conversations about different ways that these documents can support perhaps, you know, students that are being apprenticed into the university as well. So, you know, but then like, how can we have them engage in this metacognition, right? You know, the metacognition that, you know, I've included these things in my, you know, in my portfolio, understanding, like, for instance, if you were having them do it for guided pathways, you could think about having the students do a metacognitive piece that would talk about like how they understood their growth as, you know, as students during that time that they've been in the college system. So, you know, just kind of thinking about like how we might be able to creatively use some of these things. Okay. And then they have the site itself, which is worth about half. So the creation of it where, you know, we think about it as writing or using rhetoric. So for instance, the colors that you use, or, you know, the way that you might arrange that you looked at probably Erin's e-portfolio, Iris and Jared's e-portfolio, and you can see the rhetorical moves that they were making. Okay. So thinking about that, and then just thinking about, you know, writing with these elements and such. Okay. So any questions that anybody has at this point?
I don't see any questions in the text box right now.
Okay. Carrie looks like she has a question. I think we have like a minute or so. Maybe not. Diana, how are we doing with time?
Yeah, we have a minute. You want to ask your question,
Okay,
Carrie?
perfect.
Oh, there, I'm unmuted now, yeah.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about the PACT portion? Do you include that in your syllabus or in the portfolio, or?
Okay, so that's something that we have been talking about, Diana and I have been talking about a lot, is thinking about, you know, how it could be used. And so I always do something that's like a PACT, but usually that PACT that Hammond talks about, I usually include that when I am working with a student who's struggling. But the idea here is that instead of using it that way, it's like you kind of do it up front, right? You say like, you know, how will you and especially in the times that we're living in, I think that it's a very interesting kind of marriage. And if we look at that anatomy that Jared and I are going to show you right now the website, right, that we created for everybody. But on that, we have the anatomy of, I think it's anatomy of learning, something like that. In that presentation, thank you, Diana. So in that presentation, it actually goes into another kind of PACT, right, which is more like, you know, this is my PACT with you as a student. I'm going to, so there are two different kinds of PACTs, right? One is, this is what I'm going to do to help you. And the other PACT is, you know, this is what we will do. Like, this is what your responsibility is, or this is what we'll do if you're running into a problem. And so I think creating a hybrid of those two where students think about ahead of time, because usually what I do is I give them a survey at the beginning of the semester and I ask them, like, you know, what are your goals and what will you do if, you know, something's going to occur? Like, how would you like me to reach out to you? But this is a kind of an innovative way to address that. So I don't know, did that answer your question, Carrie? Okay. So yeah, so we're just, you know, we're kind of wayfinding right now in terms of thinking about like how we're going to support students in this online environment where they may not feel like they have the same kind of connection system and we can't see their faces in that way, right? We're going to see a lot of, blank screens. And so how do we make sure that we continue to check in? And some of those things are like that column that we had. What's your number? Is it a 3.5? Is it a 5? Is it a 0? How are you doing? Where are you at? Okay. So we're getting ready for the design lab time right now. But before we move into that, I think that Jared, Diana, do we have just a second for Jared to show us and then while he's doing that.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Okay. So you can show us what we're going to be doing next. And then we have community hours on Wednesday and Thursday. So he will show you that part. So if you see that at the very top of the page, so you can just actually click on that button and you can enter on those days, and we will be here to help you. Okay. So if you have more questions or need a thought partner or something like that, then we're here to give you more individualized support. So we're really excited about that. So Jared, did you want to talk about our project? Or show us the homework.
Oh, sorry. I was looking for the mute button.
I unmuted you.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Okay. So me and Koning, we spent some time and we actually made life a little bit easier. And we put everything together onto a website for you guys so that you can easily access everything that we've covered within our lessons and also your homework as well. So we're going to look at the homepage really fast. So as you see, we put your word cloud here. We have little buttons that take you to each of our each session that we previously been in. And we also have some external links down here that give you access to the Canvas page so you can turn in work easier. You can log in here for, let's say you still can't find the Zoom session. You can click here, and this is it'll give you for the first time use. So let's say you lose your email for the first time, or not first time, but you lose your email and you need to recreate one to get a password back. You can click here and refill it out. And this also takes you to our Google Doc as well as the PowerPoint that me and Iris made for the tutorials that we gave you guys. So if we quickly click onto sessions or the session tags down here, you can see that we have pre-work available, and we have some resources for you guys to use, and also our video from our previous session, as well as the homework link. So if we click onto the button right here, it'll take us to everything that you will need to complete for each homework assignment. And usually these are very helpful to see. And you can also see that we have portfolio examples. So just in case if you wanted to find our portfolios to look at again, we provided them for you guys. But feel free to go to the website. You have access to all homework assignments and resources. We try to be very, collective for everything. We try to look for every little aspect so you guys will feel you're going down the right path and direction. So please take a look at the website. Also, your homework is on here, so it'd be definitely really helpful to get different perspectives and to find everything easier for you guys, so you don't have to spend so much time going around everywhere and getting lost. So definitely take a look.
Is this the breakout room? I'm sorry to interrupt. For
no,
the Canvas?
No, we were just demoing the website that Jared and Keelan made for the entire, for everybody. And we're going to be moving into the breakout rooms now.
Okay. Someone was asking.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they were asking for the link to the website. So we'll post that in the chat box.
Oh, I was putting in the chat that just to make sure, like if anyone hasn't said what room they want to be in, if you could let me know right now. that would be great.
Right, so the choices are Iris and Jared, myself, if you are in student services or in the counseling discipline and want to kind of brainstorm a little bit more about how we can use e-portfolios, or to be with Keelan. Or we also have a quiet room where you can just start working on designing your assignment and wrapping your brain around how you can use this in your discipline and in your class.
All right, everybody. Hi. Okay, well, I think we can, and Camilo, sorry, Eugene, which room did you want to be? Did you want to be with Iris and Jared? I figured you did. Okay. How did I know?
Yolanda would like Jared.
Pardon?
Yolanda would like Jared.
Perfect. All right, Yolanda, I will do that right now.
Nicole would like the quiet room.
Oh, perfect. Okay, sounds good.
Kyle would like also the quiet room.
Nice. Okay, sounds good. Okay, so what thoughts are you all having? What are we working on? Want to show something that you're working on right now in terms of the assignments? So what are you all thinking in terms of like creating your assignments? Welcome back. How was it?
It's great.
Good, good.
I enjoyed your discussions or your quiet time.
Beautiful. So Leticia said, Diana and Lisa, you inspire me. Good, good, good. That's beautiful.
We're all inspiring each other.
Yeah.
Some really great insights and questions about, big picture stuff like institutionalizing e-portfolios and all coming together in an agreement of one, form of technology rather than a variety. Kind of what Salt Lake City has done with Digication Cora. They've kind of tapped that as their, e-portfolio stamp.
Excellent. Okay. Jared and Iris in your room. Does anybody want to talk about that? It was good. Awesome. When our students are the experts, that is a beautiful, beautiful thing, right?
They definitely had some good questions. One that I didn't think about. Someone asked about like, would it be confusing for students because like more teachers assigned e-portfolios, so say they assigned to do Google Sites and you were doing one on Wix, maybe how would that work? And I think it's important that just to keep in mind that teachers should give the option to choose multiple websites rather than just one specifically. And I thought that was definitely a helpful comment to consider and everything.
Yeah, because that's what we do, that's what we do in our class. It's just that all the students want to do Wix, right? So, but I think the power of choice is something, and it's very interesting because it seems like with the faculty that Google Sites seems to be the thing, right? But the students seem to really want Wix. So we'll see how it goes. But yes, definitely letting the students lead. I think that Eugene was mentioning that his student knows Adobe, this Adobe program, and was kind of sharing that. So that's awesome, and he was letting that student lead. So we've been having these conversations, kind of thinking through. So this is a very exciting endeavor. I love that, it's, thinking about an institutional level on, in different ways, right? Because even Salt Lake City hasn't been able to accomplish some of the things that LA Community College District might be able to do, right? Or, across the state, as we think about our community colleges statewide, we might be able to do some super badass stuff, right? That would set the standard, as our state tends to do, because our state is amazing, right? And our community college educators are top notch. I mean, oh my goodness. Okay, so Maria asked, can we use ePortfolio and Canvas for student work as well as for faculty professional workspace? Yes, you can. It is not fun. It's not exactly a bells and whistles situation. But we do have, if you look at it, Maria, we have, we'll show you as well, but Jared created a whole tutorial on that that's on our website. So he'll be sharing that. But Jared, would you like to take us to our outside work?
Oh, the website, right?
That's right.
All right, perfect. Yes.
To review the homework?
Yes.
All right.
I'd love to. Let me just open it up for you guys.
Yes. And in the meantime, let's go back to that Gots and Needs and have that open as well. So we can get there. So I'll go ahead and get that open for you all so we can make sure that we are meeting your needs as much as we possibly can.
Okay, so to find your homework for this week, so what you're going to do is when you're logged into the homepage, you can either go up to your Togo bar, or you can scroll down a little bit and then you can find the session 2 button. So we're just going to click
Which
it.
was offered actually because you all wanted that. So that was awesome. Yeah,
it actually it helps make things less confusing. Just in case if you don't know, if you're not familiar with Google Sites, for example. So we have these little button links usually to help you navigate a little bit easier. So these big arrows indicate that this is where your homework is going to be, so you can't miss it. So we're going to click on the homework for session 3. And as you can see, we have a step-by-step of everything you should do in order to, kind of catch up and be caught up for next session. So we'd start by step 1 is reading the Insiders and Outsiders, or the My Math Story, for a personal learning history. And we want you to make note of any strong or golden lines, things that stood out to you. And then what we want you to do is then complete your personal learning history. So this is at least 500 words, responding to these following questions. What supported you in your development as a learner? What barriers have you faced at various stages in your life as a learner? What were times you felt like an insider in relation to learning, and what were times you felt like an outsider in relation to learning? And we want you to add this not only to your website, but to the Canvas as well. And feel free to to add pictures, or do a recording, anything. We offer complete variety control. You don't have to just write it out if you feel like you want to go down a more creative route. And then step 4 is as I mentioned earlier, post it. So share it, because we're going to be talking about these in our next session. So it's really important that you guys spend a little bit of time, maybe like an hour or 2 throughout the week, work on it and complete it for next session. And then we have an assignment design. So by step 5, you're going to review and choose one article from each category. And usually these are articles that we all provide are relatively short, so they shouldn't take too much of your time. So dedicate a little bit of time to filling these out. These will definitely help you with your website creation, so we cannot recommend it more. And we have some additional guiding questions to help you answer anything from the articles that we give you. And then by the final step, we just want you to kind of draft an assignment and plan a series of assignments, kind of like an outline or a plan. Think of like a storyboard, and add it to your portfolio. And this will help you in the long run kind of prepare for, ePortfolio introductions into your actual classroom.
Mm-hmm.
So
we just want to pause for just a moment, because we've already come to our time, and we want to be respectful of your time. For those of you who do have another minute, if you want to stay with us, please do, and we'll go ahead and kind of guide you through and answer any questions that you might have. But we are just super grateful to all of you for coming, and we want to let you know right now the Math Story and the Insiders and Outsiders are linking to Canvas, so you have to be logged into your Canvas in order to get there. But I will fix those links right now so that you're able to easily get into those. Okay, so thank you so much. We are excited to see you. We are excited to see all of you next week, and keep going, Jared.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm gonna slowly make my way back down so it doesn't hurt anybody's eyes. And we also provided a lot of resources for you guys too for session, well, for both sessions. So relatively when you click on a session, you should find these resources for you. And session 1 has a lot of resources that will help in your creation of your website. Session 2, we have our presentation link just in case, and we have some backwards design articles that we'd like you guys to look. This one isn't required or anything. To kind of give you more of a perspective to help you when teaching about ePortfolios and different strategies to use.
Cool. Great work, Keelan and Jared.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for putting this together.
Collaborative efforts with your beautiful word cloud right here forefronted. So wonderful.
Well, thank you so much, everyone. We want to be respectful of your time. So if everybody needs to leave, we understand, but Keelan and Jared and Iris will stick around for a bit if you have any questions.
That's right.
I have to get running to another meeting myself too. So I will see you guys next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.